Good afternoon, welcome back ladies, gents and Pikachus. Just a little extra comment on the very long video I've done in my debate with this guy Tarook. Now what he has done, his first mistake is, and he keeps on making this mistake, he's very stubbornly making this mistake again and again. He thinks that the things I am saying are my interpretations, like I'm the one who's writing this and making all these things up. I'm not. I'm pulling every single thing that I say from an Arabic Quran held at the mosque in Mecca, and the interpretations and the commentaries I am adding are directly from those guys. Now, as we know, if you're a Muslim, the mosque in Mecca is your main mosque, the great mosque. Allah tells you this in the Quran. So those are the guys employed by your official authority. Your religious authority employs those guys because they have the best knowledge. So if I am repeating what they are saying to you and you're saying I'm wrong, you're saying they're wrong. So that's why I keep telling you you're being an infidel to them. They are the ones that will say you're an infidel, not me. I don't set the bar for what is an infidel and what is not an infidel. You and I are both equally infidels by the Mecca mosque, by the writings of these guys. And that's why I've put so many of them into my video, which is uploading now. But one thing you've done that isn't out of there, another mistake which I've noticed, when I reply to your comments with text, and I put a lot of effort into my replies to you, they're very long, they have lots of verses in there with that from the Arabic, not from your doctrine or your false doctrine version, from the actual words of Allah. You've reported these to make them disappear. That's sophistry, friend, that's not honest. You made those disappear because they prove you to be in error. But I knew you were going to do this because I've read the Quran. So what did I do? I copied and pasted that comment into a notepad file before I sent it to you. And I'm just going to attach it into the description of my next video. Because it's fair comment. It's 100% accurate of the words of Allah and the translation and the interpretation of the guys at the mosque in Mecca. And if you argue with those guys like you're doing now, you are an infidel. So they will give you lashes for disobeying them. If that doesn't work, they will cut your hand and foot off on opposite sides. And if that doesn't work, they will execute you. So isn't it just fortunate for you that you don't live there? You live in a Western country where we will protect you from those things happening. And you get to read your false doctrine and not be killed for it, because as we will see in the video, and you, once again, when we look at my video, I've given you the website from the Mecca guys, the mosque guys in Mecca, what they say, based on what Allah says. They are the authority here, not me. So please, I would really advise that you stop blaming their works on me. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish these guys weren't saying these things and they didn't believe these things and that Islam didn't believe these things, but they do. That is why I'm an infidel and you're an infidel, and why I say they are immoral, sick and evil. Like, one of the main points they say is, it's all the fault of Jews and Christians. Everything bad that's ever happened to Islam is the fault of Jews and Christians, and that is why their portion from Allah is wrath. That is why they are going to the evil fire, and there's nothing they can do about it. And the reason Allah says this is happening is because we are born with evil souls, which means we cannot ever change it. Even if we pretend to change it, even if we do all the right things to look and behave as if we are changing it, deep down we still got those evil souls. And how Allah explains this is by saying He has set a disease upon our hearts, and He will increase this disease every time we try and defy Him. So that means unless we accept our fate and die and go to hell, we are defying Him. Do you understand that? There is no way out of His wrath for us. And for you, it seems, at the moment, because you are an infidel. You keep sticking to this point. No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean this. You don't get to say what it means and what it doesn't mean. These guys at the Mecca Mosque are the ones who know. So if you don't follow them, then you're following me. You're agreeing with me then. That's what I say. I think jihad is wrong. I think holy war is a preposterous, murderous, stupid idea based on racist ideals from the Dark Ages. I think that Islam, basing its entire doctrine on that end times genocidal prophecy which Allah has made, calling us all infidels and kuffar, is stupid, bad and wrong. And that you shouldn't be killing people unless they attack you first in a war with military people, not civilians. That's what I think. That's what Westerners think. That's what Christianity thinks, brother. So if you agree those things, you're actually in agreement with Christianity, not with Islam. But anyway, you won't listen to a word I say, so I've made a long video with all of this stuff in there. I've linked you back to the Mecca Mosque website, which has got an English translation of all its works for you living here. And if you continue to argue with them, you're an infidel. Simple as that. They will tell you this. Read it. It says there, it describes in there how and why you're an infidel because of the things that you've already said. And if you fail to change your mind and go towards the Mecca Mosque and their writings, then they'll punish you. You could never visit Mecca. You could never do your pilgrimage because they'll catch up with you. And they'll punish you for the things that you've already said. So I hope that answers your question in full and also gives you a reason to stop trying to censor my replies. You will not manage it. I have dealt with hundreds of guys just like you. Well, actually not just like you. You seem to have a good moral heart, even though you're very highly misled. At least you're not shouting from the rooftops that you think we should all be killed and we've all got evil souls. But because you're saying that, you're an infidel. You should be saying, if you're a Muslim, we are born with evil souls. Allah directly says, Christians, Jews, apostates, atheists, pagans and polytheists are all born of evil souls. So that means they cannot ever change this because Allah's the only one who can write into their souls. And He has preordained this. Understand that as well. We don't have free will choice to change. He has preordained every man's path to lead back to Him. And for us, that means if we try to change, He will use a mind control a la disease upon us, and He will greatly increase this disease if we try to get away from it so that we are turned back towards sin. And the reason He needs that to happen is because paradise cannot be created without our deaths. If we turn to Islam and become good Muslims, that doesn't work well for Him. So He ensures through His disease, increasing our disease, which is what He says in Al-Baqarah, that will happen. And the instrument of us being killed, He doesn't kill us. You Muslims have to kill us in the Holy Jihad, which is His cause, which must be your cause. And if you don't accept that cause, you're an infidel, and He will kill you, with other Muslims coming to kill you. We know this. It says in the Quran, in the Arabic, not in the English one. The English one pretties this up and changes the words and misses out some words to give you a false impression, which is clearly the one you're reading. But like I said, you don't need to take my word for it, brother. I know you won't take my word for it. I wouldn't take my word for it because I'm not a religious authority on Islam. These guys in the Mecca Mosque are, who wrote the website I posted in my video. So go and read that. And if you have 100% read that, and it will take you more than a few minutes, you can't get away with this lazy approach you're taking of just reading bits and bobs. Read the whole thing. That's what I did. I spent thousands of hours reading and studying it and then checking it against other Muslim scholars to make sure I was right. Whereas what you have done, and you admitted to this, is you've read one book, which is a bit part commentary written by a Christian, and then you've claimed it's the same as the actual Islam. It's not. A Christian does not agree with the Islam. Otherwise he wouldn't be a Christian. In the same way that an Islam person doesn't agree with peace against us. Otherwise you wouldn't be an Islam person. Okay, so go and watch that video. Then revise the Quran. If you're actually a good, faithful, observant, obedient Muslim, a man of Allah, you will recognize that everything that I'm saying is true and you won't refute it. You'll agree with it. You'll try and convince me that it's true. And on a last final point, Allah tells you, you should not be humble and kind and friendly towards a non-believing infidel like me. So even so far as you have done that, you have fallen into error and Allah will punish you. You should show me arrogance, spite and anger. You should be talking over me. You should not let me finish. That is what Allah tells you to do to me because I have an evil soul. So the fact that you haven't done that is another reason why you're an infidel. In the eyes of Mecca, not me, remember. This is Mecca calling you an infidel, not me. We're both infidels. So I hope that answers your questions. I hope you're listening to all of this. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be a devout, faithful Muslim, I won't stop you. If you want that, go and be a faithful, obedient Muslim. But what you're doing here isn't that. What you're doing here is closer to Christianity, where you're trying to reason out that Allah was wrong and cover it up with another doctrine, which is not the Quran, which is what you've been doing. So I hope you can untangle this web of deceit that Allah has laid forth for you and choose infidelity like I have done. Not because it's against Allah, Allah's a demon, it's because it's for God. If you want to praise and worship true God, you have to recognize you will never make the mistake that God is a demon. And that's what Muhammad said. Muhammad said his first time he saw Allah, he fled in terror because he thought it was Satan. He said that. Now, I can tell you, when you meet Christ, there's no part of you that's going to be feeling terror, and you will definitely know that it's Jesus Christ. You won't think, is this guy a demon? There will be none of that. But that's what Muhammad thought when he first saw Allah. He thought, this guy is an evil demon who is trying to possess me with his evil will, and he fled out the tent. The only reason he thought that guy was God to begin with is because he went to his wife, and his wife convinced him. And as we know from his own writings, the testimony of a wife is less than half of that of a man. So really, if Muhammad was honest with himself, he would have needed another woman to agree with his wife, and then he would have had one whole testimony to say, you were right. Only listening to his wife means he hasn't got a full testimony, he's only got half, in which case he had to fill the other half in with lies, with assumptions, with non-Quranic commands. So we know Allah thinks Muhammad is a bad Muslim, but he forgives him because he's oft forgiving, which is written in the Quran. So think about it. I really hope you're listening to all of this, not because I'm saying it, but because it's true of your religion. And if you want to be a good Muslim, you have to understand it that way. Not my way, not your way, not the Christian book way, not your false doctrine English translated Yusuf Ali Holy Quran version. You have to 100% stick to the word of Allah and Allah's nominated preachers in Mecca, who are the guys I am referring to in my video. And that's the end of this video. So I really hope you're listening, you enjoyed this, and you're learning from me. That's the main thing. You're learning from these guys through me. I'm trying to lead you through their teachings away from Islam because it's bad. But I can only do that with the truth. I can't lead you away from it with a lie, can I? I'd be leading you towards it. So I'm not lying. I'm telling you the 100% factual truth, and I hope you listen. So that's the end of this video. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. So off you go to alislam.org and read, and it will take you, you won't be able to reply to this today. If you're honest and sincere and educated in these ways, it will take you weeks and weeks and weeks to read even a portion of it. But that is what you must do. So enjoy that, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.